Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really big question, one that kind of hangs over astronomy and astrobiology.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
If the universe is just unimaginably vast,
hmm
right? Billions of stars, probably trillions of planets, many potentially like Earth,
Yeah.
then, well, where is everybody? Why haven't we heard from anyone?
Yes. That's the classic Fermi Paradox, sometimes called the Great Silence.
The great silence. I like that.
It captures the essence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got this incredibly high probability, statistically, that life, even intelligent life, should be common.
Right.
But then nothing. Zero confirmed signals, no artifacts, no definitive evidence at all. It's a profound puzzle.
It really is. And that's our mission today, using the sources you've brought together to really dig into that paradox, explore the clash between the numbers saying yes and the reality saying, well, silence.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack some of the leading ideas based on this research.
Great. So where do we start? The paradox itself, maybe? Fermi.
Yeah, let's ground it there. It's named after Enrico Fermi, the physicist. Back in 1950, apparently quite casually over lunch, he just asked, "Where is everybody?"
Just like that. Amazing. And his thinking even then was pretty solid. We know even more now, of course.
Exactly. The sources point out we're talking hundreds of billions of stars just in our own galaxy, the Milky Way,
And many are way older than our sun, billions of years older.
giving life plenty of time, potentially, to arise and evolve. And now we know planets aren't rare. They're everywhere. Billions, maybe, of Earth-sized worlds in the habitable zones of their stars.
Just in our galaxy alone, the numbers are staggering.
They really are. So if the conditions are right and life gets going, which seems plausible, right?
Uh-huh.
And if even a tiny, tiny fraction of that life becomes technological, capable of interstellar stuff, well, shouldn't we see something? Shouldn't the galaxy be noisy or, visibly changed?
That's the core of it. The silence itself is the mystery we need to explain.
Precisely. So let's dive into the potential explanations.
Okay, first up, maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe it's us, our ability to detect them. Are we just listening wrong?
That's a very strong possibility. Think about how we primarily search now, like with SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Right, big radio telescopes, listening for pattern signals, maybe looking for lasers too.
Primarily radio and optical, yes. We're basically listening for technologies we understand, technologies we use or could imagine using for long-distance communication, like radio waves or powerful laser pulses. Passive listening, mostly.
Hoping to eavesdrop on their broadcasts or maybe pick up signals they're intentionally sending out.
But what if? What if a truly advanced civilization has moved way beyond that? Our sources bring up some fascinating, if speculative, ideas.
Like what?
Well, maybe they use quantum communication, entanglement across vast distances, or perhaps neutrino-based messaging neutrinos are incredibly hard to detect. Maybe they even modulate dark matter or dark energy somehow. Stuff that's, frankly, science fiction to us right now.
So it's like we're trying to tune into galactic Wi-Fi using an old AM radio.
That's a great analogy from the source material, yeah. The signal could be all around us, incredibly sophisticated, but we just don't have their right receiver, or we don't even know what kind of signal to look for.
We're technologically deaf, essentially.
Could be. The signals might be there, maybe even common, but using physics or frequencies completely outside our current detection capabilities.
Okay, that's one possibility. But what if it's not about our tech limits? What if they choose to be silent? Civilizational filters, reasons to hide.
Right. This shifts from technological hurdles to maybe sociological or even existential ones. Why wouldn't civilization want to shout, "Here we are," across the cosmos?
Seems like a natural impulse for explorers, doesn't it?
You'd think so, but the sources suggest reasons for caution. There's the zoo hypothesis, for instance.
Yeah, the idea that we're being deliberately left alone, observed like animals in a cosmic zoo or a nature preserve.
With strict non-interference rules, perhaps. Or maybe it's what some call technosilence.
Technosilence.
The idea that maybe noisy technologies like powerful radio broadcasts are just a very short-lived phase for any advanced civilization. They quickly move on to more efficient, subtle, maybe light-speed communication methods that don't leak out into the galaxy. Or their focus just shifts entirely.
So that window where they're easy for us to detect might be incredibly brief in their history.
A tiny blip. And then there's, well, fear
Of what?
of the unknown, broadcasting your existence, your location, your capabilities. Maybe that's incredibly dangerous in a universe where you don't know who or what else is out there.
Like shouting in a dark forest. You might attract predators.
Exactly. Silence could be the ultimate survival strategy for advanced, cautious civilizations. Maybe they know something we don't about the dangers lurking out there.
That's unsettling. So the silence isn't necessarily absence. It could be prudence, caution.
It could be a very deliberate, calculated silence. They might know we're here and are choosing not to engage for their reasons or maybe even for ours.
Wow. Okay, another huge factor has to be time, right? Cosmic timescales are just mind-boggling.
Absolutely. This might be the simplest yet most profound explanation. The universe is almost 14 billion years old. Our solar system, about 4.6 billion.
Relatively young in the grand scheme.
Very. So intelligent life could have emerged billions of years ago on planets orbiting stars much older than the sun. Those civilizations could have risen, flourished, and vanished long before Earth even formed.
Gone extinct or transcended or just moved on somehow.
Or, conversely, maybe we are the anomaly. Maybe we're among the very first technological species to arise in the galaxy.
The early birds.
Perhaps. Maybe the conditions for complex life are only just becoming widespread now. Or perhaps most life out there is still microbial, and intelligence like ours is exceptionally rare or takes much longer to evolve.
And there's also the idea mentioned in the sources that technological civilizations might not last very long anyway.
That's the really sobering thought. What if the average lifespan of a society capable of interstellar communication is inherently short, maybe just a few centuries or a few millennia before they succumb to war, environmental collapse, pandemics, AI risks, you name it?
All the things we worry about right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if the broadcasting window is only, say, 500 years long for a typical civilization,
Then in a galaxy that's been around for 10 billion years, the chances of our brief listening window overlapping with their brief broadcasting window.
it becomes vanishingly small, like two mayflies trying to meet over the lifetime of a mountain range.
So even if civilizations are common, they might just flicker in and out of existence, too separated by time for contact to be likely.
Time is perhaps the greatest gulf of all.
Okay, this next one. This one really gets you thinking. What if the messages are here, or have been, and we just missed them?
Right, we assume a signal would be obvious, targeted, maybe repeating.
But what if it wasn't?
What if it was subtle or looked like something else? Exactly. Think about the sheer volume of data we collect from space. Radio signals, cosmic rays, light across all wavelengths. It's a flood. What if an artificial signal was buried in that noise, mistaken for a natural phenomenon?
Or just, archived on some computer and forgotten because it didn't fit the expected pattern?
It's entirely possible. The sources bring up a couple of famous examples that keep this idea alive. The wow signal from 77 is the classic one.
Ah, yes, that incredibly strong narrowband signal that looked exactly like what SETI was looking for, but it was only heard once.
Never repeated, never explained definitively. And then there are things like fast radio bursts, FRBs.
Those super intense millisecond flashes of radio waves from other galaxies, still mysterious, right?
Their origin is still debated. Most are likely natural, extreme astrophysical events. But could some be artificial? It keeps the door open. Plus countless other little anomalies in astronomical data that don't quite fit.
So the idea is the first proof of alien intelligence might already be sitting in our data archives unrecognized.
It's a fascinating, slightly frustrating possibility, isn't it? We might have already found it and just not known it.
Which leads naturally to another point. Maybe we need to think bigger than just messages. What if contact looks completely different?
Yes. We're often fixated on communication, on signals, on language. But what if advanced civilizations leave other kinds of evidence? What if we should be looking for their actions, not their words?
Actions like building things, really big things.
Exactly. Astroengineering. The sources mention the classic example, the Dyson sphere.
A giant structure built around a star to capture all its energy.
Hypothetically, yes. Or maybe Dyson swarms, rings, other megastructures. These would be colossal undertakings, but they'd likely produce waste heat detectable as an infrared excess around a star, a potential technosignature.
So we wouldn't hear hello, we'd see their power plant, essentially.
Or detect the byproducts of their industry or technology on a planetary or even galactic scale. Things like atmospheric pollution on an exoplanet, but, weird pollution that doesn't look natural.
Or maybe the contact is biological.
That's another angle. Panspermia, the idea that life spreads between worlds. If we find microbial life on Mars or Europa, and it turns out to share DNA or biochemistry with Earth life, well, that's a form of contact, isn't it? It implies a shared origin or transfer.
Or even more out there ideas.
The sources touch on really speculative concepts, like searching for evidence of civilizations manipulating physics itself, maybe creating artificially stable regions of space, or even tweaking fundamental constants locally. Highly theoretical, obviously.
But the point is broadening our search beyond just radio signals.
Exactly. The takeaway is that contact might not be a message to us. It might just be a detectable signature of life and technology existing elsewhere, imprinted on the universe in ways we need to learn to recognize.
Wow. Okay, so pulling all these different threads together, it seems the Great Silence probably isn't down to just one single explanation.
That seems incredibly likely, yes. It's probably not just one thing.
It's more like a combination, right? A mix of our own technological limitations.
We might be listening wrong.
Potentially their deliberate choice to remain silent for safety or other reasons.
The zoo hypothesis, or technosilence, or fear.
Layered over the absolutely immense challenges of cosmic time and distance.
Making simultaneous existence and detection incredibly improbable.
And maybe topped off with our own failure so far to recognize contact even if it's presented itself in an unexpected way.
That synthesis feels right, based on the current thinking explored in these sources. It's a complex problem with likely complex overlapping answers.
And exploring this, doing this deep dive, why does it matter? Why wrestle with the Fermi Paradox? For me, it really forces you to question assumptions about life, about intelligence, about our own place in this vast cosmos.
Absolutely. It challenges anthropocentrism. It pushes us to think bigger, to consider possibilities far beyond our current experience. Are we unique? Are we first? Are we just isolated? Or are we part of something much, much larger that we just can't perceive yet?
It's humbling and also incredibly motivating for science, isn't it?
Definitely. It drives us to develop better telescopes, new detection methods, broader theories about life itself.
So as we wrap up, maybe the questions for you, the listener, to ponder are these. Are we failing to hear because our cosmic ears just aren't good enough yet or tuned correctly?
Or are they perhaps communicating all around us using a language, whether it's quantum signals or neutrino bursts or something else that we haven't even learned to recognize?
Or is it deeper? Are we, as a species, maybe just not ready? Not mature enough, perhaps, to handle contact, or not advanced enough to pick up the subtle clues already present in that vast cosmic silence?
And here's a final thought to leave you with. What if the universe is spoken? Not necessarily with a direct message, but through an anomaly, a pattern, a signature we've logged but not understood. Or maybe the silence itself is the message, holding a meaning we haven't yet deciphered.
What if we just haven't recognized its voice yet? Keep looking, keep listening, keep wondering.